The story goes back 40 years, at least, and there's been a project that Charles Koch and David Koch have funded for these 4 decades to try to really change the direction of American politics. Charles and David were about as far right and as libertarian as you can get in America back as long ago as 1976. At that point, Charles was maybe 30 or in his 30s, and he was saying that he wanted to found what he called a movement to smash and to, the word he used was destroy the statist paradigm, which means sort of big government in America. He's someone who really regards government as a form of tyranny for the most part, and taxation as theft. And he wanted to change the whole setup in kind of modern America, shrink the government, get the government out of the way of businesses, and get the regulations off of his own business. So that started in 1976, and he was trying to think, how do we do it? So the first stage, and the obvious thing that you do when you want to change politics in America, is you run for office. So in 1980, Charles helped, he's the older brother of David, he helped get David to run as vice president of the United States on the Libertarian ticket. And they ran against Ronald Reagan, and they ran against Reagan from the right because they felt Reagan was too much of a liberal. So that gives you an idea where they were on the political spectrum, really far out. It was so far out that even conservatives at that point, like William Buckley, were describing them as anarcho-totalitarians. I mean, they have very, very interesting ideas, but they are really kind of unusual ideas. They're not kind of in the mainstream of American politics, and they certainly were not back then. And so in that 1980 election, they did abysmally. The Libertarian ticket took something like 1% of the vote. It cost David Koch millions of dollars of his own fortune. And he paid for, I think, 60% of the whole campaign himself. And so they realized, okay, we're not going to win it this way. So what do you do then? Well, the Kochs are very smart. They're terrific businessmen. They're both graduates of MIT, and they're engineers. And they went back to the drawing board to try to figure out a new model. And in the years after that, pretty soon after that, they began to draw up a blueprint for how you could do sort of an assembly line to change American politics, even if you couldn't win the popular vote. They followed the footsteps of a couple other major multimillionaires and billionaires on the right who were also funding this project. And they figured out that, from their standpoint, politicians are just actors who are spouting lines. And the key to changing America is to write the script. So how do you get to write the script? Well, you have to change kind of the whole way that elite opinion is formed in the country. There happened to have been, right around the same time, just a little bit earlier, a paper that was the blueprint for all of this. It was written by Lewis Powell, who became a Supreme Court justice. And before he joined the court, he wrote a paper that said conservatives, and particularly corporate conservatives, are imperiled in America because liberals, at the time he wrote the paper, were ascendant. And he said, you've got to fight back. And to do that, you're going to have to capture elite public opinion, again, like what the Kochs were trying to do. And to get that, you're going to have to change a couple things. The real enemy, he said, is not the kids in the streets who are hippies, who are protesting. It's not the anti-war protesters. It's not even the environmental movement in some ways. He said, what you've got to change are the people who write the editorials at the newspaper, the professors at the universities, the scientists who are putting out studies, the preachers in the pulpits, and as much as anything else, the judges on the courts. Well, we can see today why the judges on the courts matter. But so this was the kind of the game plan. And after the 1980 election went badly for the Kochs, they followed this game plan pretty closely and began to take their fortunes. But all the 4 sons in the Koch family had inherited several $100 million from their father, who had made it in a new process for how to refine oil. They took those fortunes, particularly Charles, who was really the kind of the ideological leader in the family, and began to think how you're going to change that elite public opinion. And they funded a system to do it. University programs, think tanks, and quite a few other things.